In the 2025 horror reimagining, Popeye, the Slayer Man, the childhood icon is transformed into a hulking, vengeful nightmare. The film opens with a high-stakes chase as a young girl flees from two aggressive thugs after stealing their chemical substances. Seeking refuge, she breaks into a derelict, rusted factory. In the shadows of the machinery, she discovers an ancient, grime-covered can of spinach, the legendary catalyst for Popeye's strength. When her pursuers corner her, they are met not by a frail man, but by a looming, monstrous figure. One of the boys, arrogant and dismissive of the local legends, attempts to intimidate the figure. In a display of brutal, superhuman strength, Popeye emerges from the darkness, dragging the boy into the gloom and viscerally dismembering him. The second boy tries to use the girl as a human shield, threatening her with a knife, but Popeye is unfazed. With a swift, bone-shattering flick of his wrist, the sailor breaks the thug's arm before crushing the boy's skull between his massive hands. In a chilling twist of the hero trope, the girl, terrified by the carnage, calls Popeye a monster. This rejection triggers a primal rage in the creature. He turns his fury on the very person he just saved, killing her instantly. As the screen fades to the title card, the tone is set. This is not a story of a hero, but of a territorial slasher. The narrative then shifts to a group of young filmmakers led by Dexter, a documentarian obsessed with urban legends, and Olivia, his resourceful partner. They are joined by their friends to investigate the factory, which has been sealed for 20 years following reports of contaminated spinach and mysterious disappearances. Meanwhile, the factory's owner, Lex, is desperate to sell the property to a real estate agent. The agent warns Lex that the sale cannot proceed until the rumors of the Slayer Man are debunked. During their inspection, the atmosphere grows thick with the smell of decay. A terrified secretary encounters the factory's hulking security guard and flees in a panic, leaving behind crucial files. Lex, annoyed by the superstition, orders his guard to eliminate any squatters or intruders to ensure the real estate deal goes through. The guard, confident in his physical prowess, begins a sweep of the facility. He soon stumbles upon the mutilated corpses of the two boys from the opening scene. Before he can react, he is confronted by Popeye. The guard attempts to fight back, but the encounter is tragically one-sided. Popeye easily overpowers him, throwing him to the ground and ending his life by crushing his head underfoot with a sickening crunch. The factory has become a graveyard, and the documentary crew is walking straight into the trap. Before arriving at the factory, Dexter's group stops at a local bar to pick up their final team member, Katie. The atmosphere in the bar is heavy with foreshadowing. An enigmatic old man, a staple of the slasher genre, warns the group that the factory isn't just a building, it is a shrine where the Slayer Man waits for his lost love. He pleads with them to turn back, but the group, fueled by youthful skepticism and the need for content, laughs off the warning. Tensions rise further when Katie's jealous and volatile boyfriend arrives with a group of stray friends. After a brief confrontation, the documentary crew departs for the factory, followed stealthily by the boyfriend and his cronies, who are convinced Katie is cheating on him with Dexter. Upon reaching the desolate site, Olivia catches a fleeting glimpse of a silhouette in an upper window, the unmistakable, distorted frame of Popeye, but he vanishes before the others can see. Proving her skills, Olivia picks the heavy lock, and the group enters the labyrinthine interior. They quickly set up a base of operations. Katie stays at the monitors to oversee the feed, while Dexter and Olivia venture into one wing to install cameras, and their two other friends explore the opposite side. The vast, echoing silence of the factory begins to weigh on them. As Dexter and Olivia navigate the dark corridors, they experience several jump scares, realizing too late that they are being watched. Simultaneously, Katie's boyfriend and his friends break into the factory, intent on catching her in an act of betrayal. This sets the stage for a chaotic three-way confrontation between the documentary crew, the jealous intruders, and the unstoppable force of Popeye. The film builds its horror through the contrast of modern technology, drones and high-definition cameras against the raw, primitive violence of the sailor. While Dexter meticulously sets up motion sensor cameras throughout the corridors, the film highlights a tragic missed opportunity for survival. Katie, tasked with monitoring the live feeds, is distracted by her phone and misses the moment Popeye's hulking silhouette passes directly in front of a lens. The horror escalates when the state real estate agent returns to the factory to retrieve forgotten files. Her professional mission turns into a nightmare when she discovers the mutilated corpse of the security guard. Before she can escape, Popeye corners her. In a gruesome display of his mutated strength, he seizes her by the hair with such force that it tears her scalp, dragging her into a room housing industrial machinery. There, he feeds her into a spinach cutting machine, reducing her to minced meat, a dark irony reflecting the factory's original purpose. As the body count rises, Dexter and Olivia reach the factory's executive offices. Olivia, who reveals she has a mysterious past connected to this town, uses her lock-picking skills to bypass the office security. They discover hidden files that expose the factory's dark secret. 20 years ago, the facility was sealed not just for a simple health violation, but because the spinach was infected with a virulent, poisonous bacterium. Lex, the wealthy and influential owner, used his power to suppress the news and silence whistleblowers. The group finds chilling poetry scrawled on the walls, serving as a warning to intruders: if you smell smoke, save yourself; if you feel fear, you are already dead. The subplot involving Katie's jealous boyfriend, Joey, reaches a violent climax. Joey and his friends break into the factory, driven by misplaced rage. When Katie encounters them and tries to warn them about the monster, Joey dismisses her fears and breaks her phone in a fit of pique. Their arrogance is short-lived. One of Joey's friends attempts to attack Popeye with a knife, but the Slayer Man is unfazed. Popeye retaliates with primitive brutality, gouging out the boy's eyes. As the remaining friends flee in terror, Popeye pursues them with relentless speed. One boy manages to reach his car, but finds he cannot move. Popeye has physically lifted the back of the vehicle off the ground. When the boy tries to run on foot, Popeye launches a heavy rusted anchor, impaling him and then using the sharp flukes to saw through his throat. The narrative threads converge as Dexter and Olivia find the corpses of their teammates. They stumble upon a hidden living quarters within the factory, filled with old photographs and newspaper clippings. The tragic truth of the Slayer Man is finally unveiled. Popeye's wife, a former employee at the factory, was the one who leaked the information about the poisonous bacteria. To protect his interests, Lex had her murdered and her body hidden. Driven mad by grief, Popeye remained in the factory to find her, surviving for decades by consuming the very poisoned spinach that caused the factory's ruin. The bacteria caused his body to mutate and deform, turning him into a superhuman, mindless engine of vengeance. In the final act, Dexter and Olivia attempt to flee through a secondary exit, only to be intercepted by Popeye. The monster easily overpowers Dexter, breaking his arm and preparing to deliver a killing blow. However, Olivia screams for him to stop. In a shocking revelation, it is discovered that Olivia is actually Popeye's long-lost daughter, who has returned to the factory to find her parents. The monster pauses, a flicker of humanity returning to his eyes as he recognizes his child. The emotional reunion is interrupted by Joey, who shoots Popeye from the shadows. Enraged by the attack and the fact that Joey is threatening Olivia, Popeye enters a final berserker state. He grabs Joey, snaps his arms, and crushes his skull with his bare hands. Olivia manages to lead the injured Dexter and Katie out of the factory as the police arrive. Despite the horrors she witnessed, Olivia chooses to protect her father's legacy. She tells the authorities that the murders were committed by a madman who has since escaped, keeping Popeye's existence a secret. The film concludes with a chilling shot of Popeye watching from the high windows of the factory, knowing his daughter is safe. The cycle of vengeance is completed in a mid-credits scene where Lex, the corrupt owner, returns to the site to finalize his business deal. He is confronted by Popeye in the dark. Popeye utters a final, guttural judgment before crushing Lex's head, finally avenging his wife and ending the corporate greed that birthed the monster. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.